Are we finally back to a buyer's market in Northeast Ohio in 2023? What's going on in the real estate market right now? What are we going to see in the next 30 to 90 days? And what the heck happened in 2022? It was such a crazy year. So I'm going to go over everything you guys need to know about what's going on in the real estate market and what we're going to see in the future. But what happened last year? What was going on in 2022? If you're not aware of the real estate market, if you just started looking for houses or just getting involved in this, spring of 2022 and 2021 was a little bit crazier. Actually, it was a lot crazy all over the country. And then at the end of 2022, everything changed. So what really happened in 2022? Inventory levels were so low in every state. Really, in Northeast Ohio, they were also. If you look back to 2019, within my zip code, as an example, there were about 150 houses on the market at any time. And then 2022 was like 30, right? So we saw those inventory levels drop so much. And that caused a huge seller's market. As I'm sure you've heard of, multiple offers on houses selling for $10,000, $100,000 over asking price. Another reason for the inventory shortage was new builds, especially in Ohio. There wasn't a lot of new construction going on. And because of COVID, everything really slowed down a lot. It was really hard to find labor and materials. Material costs tripled. They went through the roof, so new build costs went way up. The lead time to get materials also went up. So we didn't see a lot of new construction. Another big factor was that interest rates were so low. That was really the biggest contributor to why there was such a housing shortage. Interest rates were so low for so long that everybody was trying to buy a house. A lot of millennials were aging up and they were looking at buying houses too, and so that was a big part of the market. So people were looking at buying their first houses. Investors were involved, sometimes even big companies, Zillow, Blackstone. These investors were paying billions of dollars and buying up real estate all over the country, and that was not helping with the real estate shortage either. On top of that, sellers were not really selling their homes. They were just refinancing. They were staying in the same place. They were on the opposite end, right? So if they couldn't find a house to buy, why would they sell their home? And interest rates were so low that they just ended up refinancing anyway. That massive shortage of inventory caused multiple offers on every property. We were seeing 10, 20, 30, even 50 offers on one property. They were going 5, 10% over, sometimes $100,000, $200,000 over the asking price, depending on the price point in Northeast Ohio, all over the country, of course. But we saw a lot of that here too. People were waiving inspections when they were buying houses. They were giving non-refundable earnest money. They were paying cash if they could. It was just really competitive. And if you wanted to buy a house, sometimes it took 5 to 10 different tries making offers on houses before you could actually get one under contract. And it was very much a seller's market. It was not favorable to the buyer at all. And what's really interesting is there's a lot of studies out there. 72% of recent home buyers have regrets about their purchases. Almost 3/4 of people that bought a house in 2022 when they were so rushed to make a decision actually regret making that decision, waiving all those inspections, paying too much for the houses. So that was kind of what was going on in 2021 and 2022 until everything changed. Interest rates started going up, and that really scared a lot of people. I think they were about 4% in March, April, May, they were probably closer to 5, June, July, they were around 6, and we hit a high of 7% in October. Now, someone that was looking for a house, to buy a house at a 3% interest rate just months earlier, was now looking at a 7%. And there's no way they were going to go for that. So a lot of buyers backed out of that market. Affordability for buyers went way down. So if you're looking at a $400,000 house at 3%, maybe you're now looking at a $300,000 house at 7%. The problem was house prices weren't going down yet, and they still haven't. That's when the middle of 2022, I remember, everything kind of just stopped. We went from 20 or 30 calls a day from buyers to 2 or 3 a week. It seemed like the market just completely halted to a standstill for a while there when interest rates were going up. And you know what? A lot of what contributed to that was buyer fatigue also. Buyers were sick of paying way over asking price, giving up inspections and not getting any incentives from sellers, making offers on multiple properties, and so they stopped. So all the buyers stopped. We still weren't seeing a lot of sellers. So real estate has slowed way down, and we saw that in last month. Last month report came out. It says that year over year, sales were down 34%. That was for national. Prices, you can see year over year, were still going up a little bit, 2.3%. Inventory was going up a little bit because nobody was buying a house, which is a good thing. But if you look at Northeast Ohio also, we had the same thing. Sales in December of 2022 reached 9,000, a 25% decrease from December of 2021. So just last month, from a year ago, we were down 25% in sales. So you can see that huge drop in activity. So now we're into 2023. That was last year. Things are picking up a little bit again. Buyers are coming back. Interest rates have edged down a little bit from that 7% in October. Right now, we're about around 6%, but we're seeing a little bit more activity from buyers and also from sellers. So what's back in the market? What I'm really excited about is that towards the end of 2022 and right now, what's coming back are inspections. A lot of buyers, like I said, they were fatigued and a lot of them regretted their purchases. So buyers backed off and now they're getting a little bit more aware. They're getting a little bit more patient with the market. They don't want to waive those inspections. They don't want to pay way over asking price. Another thing that's been really nice is more time on market. The days on market of properties in our area in Northeast Ohio has gone up, which means houses are sitting a little bit longer. They're not selling in hours, so people have a little bit more time to make those decisions. Now, just because we're not in the 30 offer situation doesn't mean it's still not competitive because the inventory is so low. It has gone up. In the spring of 2022, we had about 1.5 months of inventory. Right now, we're looking at about 2.5. All that really means is that there is inventory coming back to the market. Some of that is just because it's winter, but also because home sales are down about 30%. So if you're a buyer right now, I have a lot of buyers that are asking for inspections. They're asking for sellers to pay closing costs. Some of them are even going under asking price, which is really nice to see. We're seeing a lot more price drops on the market, which we were not seeing almost at all in the spring. Those are starting to come back a little bit. So you can tell that the market is starting to switch a little bit over towards a buyer's market. Unfortunately, prices on houses have not come down really at all. They're still going up by 1 to 3%. So what does all this mean for the next 30 to 90 days? If you're thinking about buying or selling, what is it going to look like in spring of 2023? I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody really knows what's going to happen if the Feds raise interest rates. All of that can change very frequently. But right now, what's going to happen is if interest rates continue to stay lower, around 6%, and they don't go up to 7, 8, 9%, we're going to see a lot more buyers coming back in because they really got used to that 6, 7% in October. Now that it's coming back down, this is really just the new normal. So is the real estate market going to be as crazy as last year? I don't think that it's going to be. And this is the reason. First of all, buyers were really fatigued. You can see 75% of buyers were not happy with their current home. They've seen what can happen if they make a rush decision. They're not willing to do that anymore. So I don't think we're going back to that 20, 30 offers on every house. That being said, if the interest rates stay lower, there will be more buyers jumping back in to look at purchasing a home. It's still going to be a seller's market. We're not going to go into a buyer's market. We're just way too far away. A typical balanced market is about 6 months of inventory. Right now we're at about 2.5, right? So we would have to see so much more inventory, so many more sellers being willing to sell their houses. So we're still going to be in a seller's market. Certain houses, certain properties, certain neighborhoods are still going to go over asking price with multiple offers. Maybe not 30, but 3, right? 3, 5. I actually just showed a house to one of my clients the other day, and they got 12 offers on the house. It was a great neighborhood. The house was really underpriced, so I'm not surprised about that. But there were multiple offers on it. I've had 2 in the past week that have had multiple offers. So that's why it's important to have a local real estate agent who knows the market in the neighborhoods, what's selling and what's not in your area. So that's what's going on in the real estate market right now and what I think is going to happen in the next 30 to 90 days. If you guys are thinking about buying or selling in the Sugar Valley area, of course, give me a call, text, or email. I love hearing from you guys. And I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment about your real estate experience and what do you think is going to happen in the real estate market this spring. And thanks again for watching.